maximize your opportunities. Please write that at the top of your paper. And I gave everyone a packet today, so we're going to work out of that packet. I'm a teacher by nature, okay? So you can, write on this as well. But there's 2 activities that we're going to walk through. And if you did not get a packet, just raise your hand, and one of my team members will bring you a packet. Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Anna. All right, awesome. So at the top of your paper, write maximize your opportunities. A lot of times, no matter what's going on, it may be great things going on in your life. It may not be some great things going on, but there's always opportunities in every situation, right? Right? Would y'all agree? Now listen, I am not up here just to run my mouth and y'all not talk to me. This is going to be interactive. Because if you go to sleep, I'm going to sleep. So I need us both to stay awake. But in life, you have to decide if you're going to be the victim or if you're going to be victorious. And my goal for you today is for you to decide if you're going to be victorious. We can make choices. We can choose. I heard Stephanie say that you guys have been going through some different things in your company. You can decide to look at what's going on as an opportunity, or you can play the victim role. And the victim is, oh, woe is me. What am I going to do? Oh, they're merging 2 companies. What am I going to do? I need to start looking for a job now. I need to, you go into that mode, that anxiety mode, right? Or the person who operates in victory can say, you know what? There has to be an opportunity in this. Let me figure out what it is. What do I need to do? Maybe it's time for me to develop me. Maybe it's time for me to go back to school. Maybe it's time for me to work on me. So we have to decide if we're going to look at the glass half empty or what? Half full, right? And we have to learn how to make lemonade out of lemons, right? Did I say that the right way? Okay. All right, awesome. So if you look at the definition of opportunities, it's a set of circumstances that make it possible to do something. Okay? It doesn't say good or bad. It just says makes it possible to do something. And then when you look at maximize, I love this word. I love this word. It says make as large or great as possible. So no matter what the situation, you make it as great or as large as possible. I have to share this. About 9 years ago, going on 10, my father passed away. And I was a daddy's girl. Like, literally, I loved my daddy. So when he died, it was just like, oh my gosh. And that was at the plight of my success in Mary Kay. So we buried him on a Saturday. And that Wednesday, me and my mother had to get on a plane and go to Dallas. And I had 17 women that were going with me. I could have easily said, I'm not going. Life has happened to me. Things have, I'm distraught. But there were people that were depending on me. So I had to look at the opportunity, get on the plane, still hurting, but I just kind of had to close that compartment and do exactly what I needed to do. And that following year was the best year ever. So we have to be careful in taking advantage of the opportunities that are presented no matter what, right? So now let's combine the definition. A set of circumstances that make it possible to do something large or great. I want you to think about what's going on in your life right now. And I had some conversations, I'm not going to look over there. I had some conversations with some young ladies, and they were sharing with me about some of the different things that's going on in their life. And I'm like, how are you going to look at that? What are you going to do? What are you going to do in order to take yourself to the next dimension? What are you going to do? We have to learn how to take responsibility for our own actions, right? So now, the question is, how do you maximize your opportunities? How do I, point to yourself, how do I maximize my opportunities? Let me share with you a story. So I love stories. I feel like they're the most relatable, right? My great-grandmother, who died 2 weeks before she was 102 years old, I'll never forget, I was 11 years old, and anyone who knew, my parents raised me and my brother, but so did my grandparents, okay? My grandma and my grandpa. So every day, we would ride the bus to my grandparents' home. We would get off the bus, okay? And then we would go to my grandparents' house. We could not wait. I just remember on the bus every day looking out the window like, I cannot wait to get to my grandma's house to talk to my great-grandmother, because she lived with my grandparents. This is my grandfather's mother. And I could not wait. I literally would run in the house every day because she told the most amazing stories. She would talk about my grandparents, and my grandfather had 7 brothers and sisters. She would tell us all the stories, and she talked about how they loved each other and how they were always together and just the dynamics of being a family. And then she would share about my mom, and that's my mom in the back. Wave your hand, Mom. I take her with me everywhere I go. You better clap for my mom. So listen, she would tell me stories, and her stories, I mean, I could always visualize myself there. She would talk about how, everybody did everything together. And at our family reunions, there's almost like 200 people there. Like, we have a huge family. And she instilled so much inside of us, right? So I'll never forget one day getting off the bus. And it was a dark and gloomy day, even darker than today. And I'm walking to my grandparents' house, and I walk in the door, and my grandmother is boo-hoo crying, sitting in her chair. And I'm like, Grandma, what's wrong? And she shared with me that day that my great-grandmother had died in her arms 2 weeks before her 102nd birthday. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? Where are all the stories? Like, why am I going to rush off the bus? Who's going to share with me everything that's going on and that's gone on? And then I start thinking, she's instilled so much in us. Her stories will continue to live on. And now with me being an adult, you should see our family. It's still the same. We still operate the same. We are everywhere together. Like my cousin recording, she's on my team as well. She's right here recording. She's looking down like, what she saying? But we do everything together. So she took every opportunity and maximized it in order to share with us how to love each other, how to be a family, how to continue and pass it on generations to generations. And that's what we do. And that's why we're solid as a family. My question to you is, what type of legacy are you going to leave? How are they going to remember you in the history books? What are they going to say about you? Because when we talk about her, it's nothing but greatness. Nothing but greatness. How are people going to remember you? What type of stamp are you going to leave on the world? That's so important. There was a speaker who was talking about, every day you get up and you go to work and you do the same things over and over and you're sleepwalking in life. It is time for you to wake up. It's time for you to go after what it is that you desire, because no one's going to hand you anything. If you want to move up in your career, figure out how to do it. If you want to start a business, figure out how to do it. Whatever it is, see, the world is so great, and it's the land of opportunities, right? We live in the United States. There's so much that you can do. Don't continue to stay asleep.